I got my nipple pinched by a lady boy.
Wait, hold on. Let's start first.
Let's get into it.
First time in a long time, still French episode 100. I got two special guests with me. Legendary Ben, the Bane Davis, and King David MMA here with me today.
Hey, let's go.
I appreciate you two legends being in the house today.
Listen, man, it
Thank
takes
you,
one to
brother.
know one, my guy.
Hey, there we go. So wait, you guys started off talking about a legendary Thailand trip recently.
Yeah.
Can we get back into that?
We went to Thailand for Fight Circus. I was Fight Circus pays me to shake my dick. Okay, so I'm a professional gyrator at Fight Circus, and they pay Ben to do a much classier job, which is being intellectual and like talk, and he's a commentator.
I don't even know.
essentially.
Classy and
Right,
Fight
yeah.
Circus do not belong in the same sentence. But yeah, you Dong Master 3000, you had a very different assignment than me.
Right, yeah. So I was shaking my dick and getting felt up by women in the crowd and everything like that. But I did get my nipple pinched by a lady boy, which is you're allowed to say that in Thailand. That's what they prefer to be called. Whereas in America, that's probably like not kosher.
It'd be frowned.
But it was. I was like, dude, this chick's hot. She's feeling me. And then I saw an Adam's apple, and I was like, I gotta bounce. You know what I mean? My nipple still hurts a little, bro. That chick had a strong grip.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So.
So
How
here-
you doing, my guy?
I've never been to Thailand yet. Your take on Thailand, Ben.
It was an interesting place. You know, I think Thailand, I didn't get to see a lot of like the touristy sides of it.
Right.
I know some people went and saw like the islands and the really cool water, and it looks like a postcard. A lot of places look like a postcard, but where we were was definitely like, all right, I can't go outside at 9 p.m. or else.
Yeah, we were in like whatever you see in The Hangover and you imagine Thailand's like, that's where we were
It is
staying.
about, yeah.
There was a club called Illusion, and it's like the number 11 nightclub in the world. It's the number 1 nightclub in Thailand, right? So we're like, oh, we're staying close to the venue. This is perfect. We don't have to travel in a foreign country where we don't speak the language. Nobody disclosed to us that Club Illusion is on Bangla Road, which is the craziest street I've ever been on in my life. And, as a man out there, you get physically, sexually assaulted non-consensually by workers of the night, we will call them, or women of the night.
It's the Bat family, dude. The Bat family comes for you.
Yeah, there's a lot to process out there.
No club going at all for you?
I'm not single, man. So like there was a lot of it that I just didn't feel comfortable engaging in.
This guy's a choir boy. We were out there. There's dudes out there that are fully wild. They're like... Okay, so there's someone that shall remain nameless that was busting in Thailand prostitutes and be like, "There's no child support laws out here, dog." And I'm like, "Whoa, bro, you're
Like,
living,
they can't get pregnant anyway.
You're living your best life." And we're looking around like, "Where's Ben Davis?" And he's back in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got like incense burning. He's like meditating, right? You know what I mean?
Going over his notes and his game film.
Listen, I got a little crazy. The night after the
He's
show,
FaceTiming his girlfriend from his hotel room. Like,
I'm
I miss
crying.
you.
Yeah.
We're all like bad influences. Like, oh, dude, we're going out. So
I lost several $100s in Thailand after
whoa.
the show because what happened was me and Sammy Jo Luxton was my color commentator. Sammy's a fantastic fighter. Her boyfriend Dane and we took on several Thai lady boys in a never-ending game of Connect 4. They were kicking our fucking asses in Connect 4, and every game was like $50. I've never played high stakes like that, right? And so I was drunk. I just kept going back and forth to the ATM, losing games of Connect 4. So that's as crazy as I got.
And so they're excellent at Connect 4. And there's this game where they hit nails into a piece of wood. And listen, you go out there, you think you got a strong game of hitting a nail into wood or whatever. Bro, you're not going to beat these trannies, dude.
Really?
They're going to mop you up. Yeah. And then...
Not even a Mexican.
we were out there. Well, so we were out there.
Bob the Builder out there just talk. I got you, bitch.
Yeah. So,
Boom. Yeah.
they're running it up in Connect 4 for money, and
I got swindled.
Yeah, and then they make you propositions like if you want to make your money back, then you gotta
I do
that's
actually,
how they get you. right?
It just clicked who you were talking about.
Right.
Man, who will remain nameless. But it is really funny when, like, let's say you're in a group and they bring that person to dinner. And you're just like, they're like, I don't know what to talk about with them for 3 hours.
Yeah, right. So we're out there. The homie brings this chick to dinner. He met her at a fucking bar, which out there, if you meet them they're called bar girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the word for prostitute. So he met a bar girl, and he's bringing the bar girl to like production
Everything we're
meetings,
doing.
like table reads, right? And so before you do like a Hollywood production, you read at a table, right? So you all have your script, and then I go, hey, you little motherfucker, you took my girl, and I'm gonna get you, right? Because I'm playing a pimp who's fighting a rival pimp, and then Ben hops in and he's like, oh, Dog Master's fucking great and crazy here, right? So we do the whole table read. This dude's got a fucking hooker with him, right? You know what I mean? And they're all cuddled up, like making out. Like, yeah, everybody's like, she's like, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, well, I play Dog Master.
Yeah, right. I play Dong Master. I'm a professional Dong Master.
And then she's like, oh, I master Dong too. And I'm like, what? And then Ben's like, Ben's the sweetest one of us all. He's like, oh, so how was your night? Oh, yeah, I mean, maybe, like...
I was trying to, like, actually
Yeah, he's
ask,
asking nice questions, but, like, you can't even ask, like, how was your night, right? Because, like, she got railed by, like, however many dudes that she wasn't attracted. It's, like, really sad, and you're like... Dude, she's a great person. You know what I mean? But she's in this line of work.
Yeah.
And now my boy's bringing her to a table read, and Ben's like trying to make her feel comfortable. And now it just got really fucking awkward and weird.
I remember homie turned, I think this is like the day before he left, and he was like, I think I'm getting married, man. No, you aren't.
Wait, and just to make, like, to clarify, she was a he, right?
No,
Yeah.
in this scenario, she was a she. But
Yeah.
she was a very experienced...
She was a lady boy, though, right?
No. She was a very experienced professional woman who's got a lot of experience. I thought she was a woman. I thought she was a woman.
I didn't. I
Oh.
I thought differently. I mean, maybe again, I didn't check, so I don't know.
Ben was not convinced.
It's hard to tell. It's
He's
hard
like,
to tell.
he's
You
like,
know?
I'm gonna need you to pull down your pants, and we're gonna do a full body cavity search to verify. We're gonna oil check for facts and
see,
and
yeah.
chromosomes.
So I've been doing some work with the Peppermint Hippo here in town, the strip club, right?
Dude, I just met 2 chicks from there last night at Tough Enough.
Yeah, they had a couple girls down there. Who'd you meet?
Her Instagram handle is Cashley.
Okay.
Nice. Good name. Great
Yeah,
play.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then I met another girl. I don't remember her name.
Well, anyway, so I met a couple girls down
But
there.
I was very attracted to the other one, but I didn't end up talking to her because Cashley was quite aggressive. You know what I mean? And she was like dominating the conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to holler at your friend real quick.
It's kind of those ones where you can't ruin it because the guarantee, or do I swing for the fences?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's say Cashley's a very sweet girl, and I think for the right person, she's
Fantastic.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's got a target audience she's looking for, and that will be perfect for her. I don't fit into that category, right? And
Sure.
so I was more interested in the other one, and I'm like trying to like, hey, yeah. So I know you want me to go to the strip club, but I'm saying you want to go to breakfast, right? Yeah. But anyway, so you work with Spearmint.
Anyway, a couple of girls. No, not Spearmint.
Peppermint Rhino.
That's
Peppermint Rhino.
There's Spearmint Hippo and Peppermint Rhino and
Switch 'em up.
the whole animal kingdom.
But a couple of those Thai chicks down there, they said the crazy thing is when you go to Thailand, if they're prettier, if they look perfect, it's gonna be a guy.
Right.
Yeah.
They're gonna be leaner, they're gonna have better bodies and better tits.
Yeah, so essentially, if she's got perfect hair, perfect eyebrows, fake lips, fake tits, a fake ass, she's got a bigger dick than you do. Straight up. You know what I mean? And that's the rule. So I had various ways of determining. Step one, you always gotta ask. Right, so I would, hey, you lady or lady boy, right? But like any sign of like an Adam's apple, you got to bounce, right? If the Thai people on average aren't super tall, right? So if she's like 5'10" and a straight dime, like, dude, you can't even press your luck. I mean, unless you're into that. But like, if you're not into that, you don't even want to take that risk.
Yeah.
So did anybody mention to this buddy at all? Let's call him Stu, right? Stu's the guy that.
Call him
Stu.
Stu. Let's
Right,
call him
right.
Big Stu, dog.
Big Stu.
So Big Stu, right?
Right, yeah.
Big Stu gets stewed up.
Right.
Does anybody talk to him about this?
I want to say that somebody at least mentioned to him, "Hey, man, what are you doing?"
Yeah, are you talking about the table read or
Just in general.
At
I
any
think
point on this trip
I think
or since?
we talked to Stu. We had to
Right,
have mentioned
yeah.
to Stu, dude.
Yeah,
What's going on?
She's a lady of the night, and I had a conversation with him where I said, man, just so you know that like this is a meme, right? Like, You come out here, they pretend that they're into you and they're trying to get like back to America, and you're kind of like living the meme right now. And he's like, oh no, bro, I think it's
He thought it was
legit.
real.
You know
Big
what I
Stu
mean? And
thought
I'm
it was
like-
real.
I'm like, listen, man, more power to you. She's either a really convincing actress who's good at her job, or they had a genuine connection. And I'm not ruling out either possibility.
I think it's a probability game. We'll go 1% genuine connection, 99 she's playing Big Stu like a violin.
I thought it was, see, I'm a romantic.
Okay.
I believe in love.
Yeah.
I really think they fell in love.
They got on
Personally.
pretty well, you know? They had a great connection.
What do you
but
think it was?
He was paying her. Like, there's no way.
I
What
thought
do you
he-
mean, what do you think it was?
I mean,
You're
like,
in Thailand.
What made him fall in love with her? Was it? Did she give him an experience that he's never had before?
I mean, those are questions for Big Stu, but I
Right.
guess if we had to wager an answer, I'd go with good personality. She was very pleasant.
Right.
She was a fun person to have around. That's where mine stops. I didn't
Right,
have
yeah.
anything more than that.
You were on Shorty's podcast with us recently.
Right,
He's got a buddy that he told me a story of that he likes to get a finger in his ass.
Oh.
and
Hell yeah.
it's the hardest he's ever came in his life.
What do we call it? A spark plug or something? What's the name for that?
Yeah.
Is that what Stu went through? Did Stu get his plug
I mean,
sparked?
that's a high clearance question that
No,
I don't even know
okay,
if
so-
I have the passcode for.
Stu's into feet.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm sure she had great feet. She had a great personality.
A lot of landscape.
And so the other thing too, like, so a lot of the dudes out there are just disheveled, whatever. Stu's
Stu's put together.
charismatic guy. He's put together, fashionable. So I think that in one way, like, she has a job, that she's got to do her job. And she's probably really good at her job and very experienced and, like, you know,
She crushed it. I mean,
yeah, had several years of back-to-back work all night. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So she's probably really, really good.
One
put the
back
time
to
in.
another back
She's
to another back.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, Stu is probably in the top percent of like fashion and like coolness that she's gonna experience on a day-to-day basis, right? So it was probably like a win for her and a win for him.
Right.
everybody got something out of it. But
Yeah.
I think you were onto something because the male G spot's inside the ass, right? That's what I've heard. I didn't take anatomy.
See, I've
so I
heard
don't
that
know.
too, but I've
Yeah.
never.
You've never experimented.
I've had
it.
someone get close, and I knew where they were headed. Right.
you had to shut him
my
down.
missile defense system was like, we got out of there real quick.
Sure.
I puckered and I was out.
What? He hit her with
said-
the pucker.
Right, like my tongue was getting close, and
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Because I
You
like
shrimp out, man. You got to hit the hips and then.
exactly. But you guys had that viral clip as well, where you guys were in Thailand,
Okay.
right?
Blob Tang. You talking about Blob Tang?
How
Are you talking about dick kicking?
Ooh.
Or are you talking about lady boy versus real boy?
There's a
in-
lot
in
of viral
fighting?
clips that Fight Circus has
I'm
produced.
talking about Ben the Bane Davis getting knocked out by King David.
Oh, shit. Oh, I
that
forgot
one.
about that
Break
one.
that down for the people.
I forgot about
Okay.
that one. Listen, he wanted to spar. He got to smoke straight up.
You know, I thought I could dethrone King David, and I was very incorrect, as I usually am when it comes to competition.
Right, so I fight professionally for real, in addition to slanging dick at Fight Circus, right? So when I'm not gyrating my penis publicly for fun and profits, right? I'm scrapping dudes in the cage. And, you know, Ben and I, we're in Thailand. We're going to spar, right? But in my head, I'm like, dude, this guy, I never met him. I'm like, he's an influencer. He's not going to fucking punk me on Instagram Reels and land a fucking two-piece in a biscuit and then post it and make me look. So I had to get him before he got me. And I'm very comfortable hitting people. And so when I hit, it was not like a, oh, I'm mad at him. Right? It's just like, yo, man.
That was just business, baby.
Right, yeah.
That was just a spar is a spar.
Right.
You know, and that was the game, right? I think it was a fantastic opportunity to learn from a true pro like King
And the
David.
one thing about Ben, I got to give him credit for, he's not afraid to get knocked out to go viral. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of dudes that want to like, hey, I want to go viral, but I don't want to take a risk. You know what I mean?
Right.
This dude will
Yeah.
put it on the line, bro. He'll make the walk.
Some would
So-
say too often. Some would say you do it too much, man.
like maybe get hit less. You know what I mean?
That's, if I ever make it to the second round, that's probably what my corner would say. Hey, can you stop getting hit?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, we need to get. Okay, will somebody hire this guy for a commentator gig so he can stop getting punched in the face, please?
Okay, you guys are either really good or you're really good, because I can't tell if you're fucking with me or not.
No. That.
It's a real blow.
Yeah, that's a.
Wait, are you being serious? 'Cause
No, yeah, 1,000%.
Watch the clip back. Watch
Up
the
until
clip
this
back.
point right
Yeah.
now, I had thought that was WWE at its finest.
Well, the angle. So obviously, the angle that you're looking at it from was a little tough, and it looks a bit goofy. But if we had a couple more angles of it, you could clearly see.
Well, knowing you was the biggest part of it.
Punch.
Like knowing how goofy you are and how great of an actor and how into it you are.
Right.
I knew you could pull that off.
Well, yeah, and I know that he's not afraid to get hit. And in the event that I did, he's not hurt.
No,
you know
don't get me wrong.
But if I hurt him
Yeah.
with a shot, I know he's not going to get mad at me, and it's not going to fuck the whole promotion up, right?
Yeah.
So at one point, I felt like he hit. Okay, so sometimes I fight with my hands down a little, and I felt like he had kind of landed a little on me, and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm like, dog. I'm
You're
not
like,
gonna
I can't let this guy.
No offense, bro, but I don't know him, so I'm looking at him like, dude, this fucking influencer thinks he can fucking
Oh
take
yeah,
off
you're
him.
not joking right now. Holy shit.
No. And then I'm like, I'm gonna pick it up a little. Wow.
Yeah,
And then I'm like,
he's
oh
not joking.
shit.
I was down.
And then, so Fight Circus already had an issue with me, right? Because when I did the casting, they said I was concerned I might be a little too extreme, right? Because you know what I mean? At first it's hard to process what's going on. You go to King David MMA on Instagram, you're like, there's a lot here, right? And so now I'm like, dude, I heard the fucking
Yeah, you heard the play-by-play
right?
commentator.
And then in
yeah.
my head, I'm like, dude, this is gonna be a great viral clip, but at the same time, like, we're not like super tight boys at that time. And he's with like, to me, the production side. Like, oh, he's one of those dudes. He's not, you know what I mean? And then he's like telling me, oh, I fought Anderson Silva's kid and shit. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how to process him either, right? So I hoped it would be all right.
First off,
but,
I wasn't bragging. I think we were talking about experience, and I was like, "Oh, I've done this, and that before." But yeah, I mean, I think that was a big thing is we didn't want to fuck up the vibe, right? And thankfully, we had so many fun memories after that. I was down for a couple minutes,
Right.
and we were at Tiger Muay Thai, and I remember the guy who was the name of the instructor, the guy that was holding pads for us, really famous Muay Thai referee, and we wanted him in there because we recognized, hey, this could get a bit hairy. And so I'm down for 3 fucking minutes, dude. And he's just cradling me.
Right.
And, when I come to him, fucking my little baby in his arms, right? King David's just still on the ropes. It was a tough one, but, we had a good memory. We had a great memory.
We had grappled before that, too. So I
Yeah.
knew that he was a little tough, and it might get weird. But, so that turned out to be like the spark of our friendship. You know what I mean?
Amazing friendship. You get slept by your boys.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, okay, well, you're not a pussy. You know what I mean? You can hang, right? So, yeah. And then, ever since then, we've been boys, so.
And ever since then, you've had another huge fight that got put together.
Unfortunately, yeah, BKFC. That was an interesting one.
How did that get put together in the first place?
The short story of it is I'm coming back from an event, and Oscar Willis calls me, and he says, listen, now that, Conor's involved with BKFC and has equity, they want to push it on the Mac Life. Well, what would justify more exposure on the Mac Life? Oscar Willis fighting. He did Tough Enough a couple years ago, which was fantastic. And when he pitched this idea to them, they loved it. But they were like, Oscar, who are you going to fight? Who would make sense? And he called me, and he was like, dude, I think this would be fun for us to do. And I, within about 10 seconds, said yes. And with how the fight went, maybe I should have considered it more. but immediately I was like, that'd be a great opportunity. And I had it was a 6-week camp, but 2 of those weeks I had shows, and he was traveling. I think the last 3 weeks. So he had a really strong first 3 weeks, I think, at Extreme Couture, and then he had to go work. I had a really strong last couple weeks heading into it. So we almost had the exact opposite fight camp experience. So I didn't feel like he was getting a better edge training-wise, and I don't think he felt like I was getting a better edge training-wise. I felt like it was 50-50, competitive as fuck, and ultimately, styles make fights, and he had a great game plan and melted me apart.
So, I mean, going into it, you didn't even ask numbers-wise what we're looking at.
I tossed a couple numbers at BKFC that they weren't fans of.
They're like, take a 0 off the end of that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, because, and I was asking for both of us. I think what I told them is, I wanted a specific number for both Oscar and I, because I'm like, this is incredibly crazy and stupid. And I think at that point, Bryce Hall was the only guy that was outside of traditional combat sports to get into BKFC. So I was like, let's make it worth everybody's while.
and worth it, right? Like, to put it in context, if you've never been to BKFC, it's the sketchiest thing you've ever seen in your life live. Like, dudes are getting stretchered out. People's faces are getting busted wide open. They have like vaginas above their eye just bleeding into their... Dude, guys are like winning fights and breaking both their hands, or like one of their hands is like the bones coming out of it and they can't fight anymore. And it's like, That guy was winning and he had to quit because his middle knuckle is popped out of his skin and there's blood going everywhere and he needs medical attention. So when Ben's saying like, we need to make it worth it. Like, dude, it's the sketchiest thing I've ever seen live outside of like somebody getting jumped in the street. Like in an actual sanctioned event, BKFC is nutty to watch live.
It's insane. It's insane.
And so he's putting his health on the line.
Well, and especially because like I have to go do these broadcasts, and if I get a busted nose, that's going to take a long time to heal. It might not look the same, right? And so I was trying to consider all of these other variables, but like I always do, it was a great opportunity, and I never like things coming on my table and saying no. Because I don't want to look back and go, man, I wish I did that.
Right.
Man, fighting Oscar in a bullfighting ring in Spain on BKFC, I wish I did that. No, I'm going to do it. And then if it goes poorly or it goes well, I'm still going to be glad that it occurred.
Right.
So, thankfully we agreed on some numbers and got it done. Less than I wanted. I'll be fine saying that. It was less than I wanted, but I recognized the opportunity was worth, more than the financial
less
price
than you
tag.
wanted sounds like still a pretty penny.
Yeah, it was great. No, I mean, like it is stupid that I've made a lot more than most fighters ever will.
Isn't that
like
pretty
in my
crazy?
fighting career? It's fucking stupid. That's not how it should happen. I think that the
I
pricing
think that
structure
is how it should happen, right? Because like really, what is it? It's fight and it's business,
entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, you got the business side down. You're bringing eyeballs. You're selling pay-per-views, right? Some other dude might be training in his garage or a gym or whatever, like super good at fighting, but it's like. No one cares, right? So if you bring a story, you're going to scrap the dude from Mac Life, right? And people are interested in that because Conor's going to show up and now the pressure's on and the lights and bullfighting arena and all this shit. Well, then, dude, you deserve to get compensated. And I'm not saying the other dude doesn't, right? But I'm just saying to like, you shouldn't get paid less. If anything, right? Maybe the other guy should be paid more, right?
Well,
but
he's
like,
bringing the value.
He's
Bringing the value with the entertainment, right? Like,
Right.
you're actually bringing an audience.
It was the biggest fight of that card. No disrespect to my man Austin Trout or the title fights that were on it, and those were some fantastic scraps. But when you look at the numbers, when you look at who Dana White was talking about that week, who Rogan was mentioning that week, Adesanya was mentioning that week, it was me and Oscar, And that was, I think, an understanding that Oscar and I had at the outset was this was going to be a really fun promotional build-up.
And that's a value you bring too, because Oscar can't, no offense, like fight a super good pro, right? And then he can't fight some influencer that doesn't know how to fight at all. So he's in a weird space where he's like a pretty good amateur boxer, but at the same time, he needs somebody that's one, not a pro, but two, like will fight him, but that's also an influencer. So it's like this weird mix that kind of Ben can fulfill in that like niche. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, if the fight takes two to tango.
Right, well, specifically in the media side of things, right? In the media market, who else would there have been for Oscar to go against?
Exactly. Yeah, I think it made the most sense, and that's when he called me. The thing that I realized immediately was like, there's nobody else really that could probably do this outside of myself.
Yeah, it was a perfect storm. It seemed like.
And I had sparred both of them, right? So we had trained in Thailand, and then Oscar came to Extreme Couture, and I didn't know who was going to win.
Really? Are you
No,
serious?
I didn't. I really didn't. Okay, because so there's the X factor with Ben. Ben's very well buttoned up and composed and professional, but he's got like this like underlying like suppressed rage in his eyes, and I'm like, dude, if the rage comes out, who knows what might happen? Because sometimes it's not necessarily like a technical battle. It's like, that motherfucker's got the dog in him. You know what I mean? And I know that Ben's not afraid to scrap, right? So I was like, dude, they're both pretty inexperienced. I was like, I sparred Oscar, and I didn't know, like, at the time that he was with Mac Life, right? I just was like, hey, man, you want to get around? Because we're both in the same class. And he's like, oh, yeah, man, I'm an amateur boxer. Is it cool if we just box? And then we boxed. And then I'd landed a couple shots on him, and he was like a little frustrated. And I'm like, dude, I got 11 pro fights, bro. What are you frustrated about? And then it turns out that he's going to be fighting Ben, and like he's got this pressure on him and all this shit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, so the fact that he got frustrated that somebody landed on him, that's a good sign, right? But at the same time, I know Ben's a fucking dog, and I'm like, dude, this is the most entertaining fight to me, like the most interesting fight on the card, because it's like, bare knuckle in itself is cool, but when I know both the people, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, I've trained with both of them, and I don't know how it's gonna go. So take my money, you know what I mean? Just fucking Yeah,
I mean, I would pay for more media members to fight, to be honest.
I think everybody should, man. I think there's a lot of people that in this space want to say that they have a voice, and thankfully this is big enough that everyone can say what they want and everyone can have the platform and shows that they want. But if you really want credibility and legitimacy, there's no reason why you shouldn't want to try and get in there at least once. And I'm not saying you need to go all the way to Spain, fight in front of 13,000 people. Take a smoker, right? Or just train and then take something local. Like, I think that it's
you were telling me about the emotions that you felt backstage,
Yeah.
right? And he's in the back, and people are getting fucked up, right? And he's like, dude, I'm gonna make the walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the fact that he's felt that fucking fear and that like, holy shit, my health is really on the line. It makes him a better commentator now, right? As opposed to somebody else who hasn't felt that.
Yeah, walking that walk, right?
Oh, so-and-so's really got to fucking bite down on his mouthpiece. And I'm like, bro, yeah, you think that, right? Until you've been fucking rocked, and now it's time to bite down on you. If you've never done it, you don't know what you're talking about, right? So this dude's done it.
I think from a play-by-play angle, I get to make and build moments in a more effective manner for that exact reason, right? When they're making that walk, when there are such high stakes on the line, as someone that's been in that position and have been in those shoes, I think as a play-by-play, I can inflate these fights to a bigger degree for these athletes that's more authentic. Because like you said, anyone can just look at it and go, oh, he's got to dig underhooks and he's got to reposition. But it's like, if you haven't fought, then that really is just, a bit of a baseless opinion.
Right, it's like speculation. And you see how articulate he is, too? Right, I'm over here like, see, he's good because he's not a pussy. And he's like,
King David.
And then he's like, well, yeah, I try and be authentic. I'm like, dude, that's perfect. Yeah, so.
My intellectual doability is. But what was that like? I mean, because it is different going out with gloves, knowing you are going to be bare knuckle.
Yeah, it was weird, man. It was tough. We did a lot of work in camp to try and replicate what that would feel like with no gloves. And so we were doing the karate combat on pads and on the bag, and like the karate combat gloves were about under 4 ounces, just under 4. So really light, hard spars in 7 ounces. So I thought that I had a really good grasp on what it's gonna be like. And then when we're in there and I start eating those shots and I'm trying to cover up and just there's nothing that's stopping his shots from coming through, I was like, yeah, this isn't going well. I remember after the first knockdown, he catches me, beautiful uppercut in the clinch. I go down, and Conor's sitting right there. And I make eye contact with him, and he's like, "You've got to keep your chin tucked, mate." And I was like, "Thanks, man." And went up and got knocked down 3 more times. But it was weird. It hurt. And I remember
thanks, Conor.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. But I remember I was telling myself, like, right before I walked out, and there were so many complications that I won't, bore anybody with, but like, it was a difficult week. And right before I walked out there, I was just telling myself, I'm a showman. I'm an entertainer. They want a show. I know I can put that on. And it was a fun fight. It was not a great competitive display from my end, but I think if you watch that fight, it's far more entertaining than Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou, right? So
he's calling out names. He's calling out names.
I'm just saying, no disrespect to those two. They're fantastic, but like, there's a lot of fights that have come and gone where it's like, all right, well, that happened. But I think this one, it was a fun fight.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it back. Ben Davis.
Go watch me die.
Versus Oscar from the Mac Life, and tell me if it's entertaining or not, because it was a fun fight.
What was the game plan coming in?
So the game plan was round 1, we were going to really take some time off and establish the jab. I wanted to keep him at the end of the length because I was a little bit taller and I think I had a little bit more reach than him. And I recognized that, what's funny is like, I didn't want to brawl. I didn't want to engage in the firefight or the trenches. I wanted to fight smart, which might have been the dumbest thing because like you said, BKFC is fucking insane. And so...
And it's short rounds.
Super short rounds. So the smarter approach...
2 minutes, right?
Yeah. And so he's got the right approach for like a 12-round boxing match with big gloves, right? I'm for real. But and so everybody would think that's the correct approach. But I've cornered at BKFC. Dude, it's like balls to the wall, hurt the motherfucker before he hurts you. Straight up. And if you can hurt the dude, now he's behind. And once you're behind,
it's game over.
You have to, it's a totally different game.
I think the big thing that during fight camp we worked one specific combo that I just was so confident in. It was that 2-3. Right. And I thought either going forwards when I'm putting the pressure on him, that 2-3 was going to be there. And then even if he was trying to get in my pocket when I'm coming backwards, bop, bop, let him walk into that left hook. The problem was when the fight was occurring, I couldn't land it at all. no distance management. I just couldn't. He was just so pressure heavy,
Right,
which we
also
weren't
just kept-
expecting.
yeah.
Because we watched that Tough Enough fight, and like that was a couple years ago, so we weren't thinking that he was going to fight the same way. But when you watch that fight, like he was so patient, and there was a lot less volume pressure right off the bat. So for him to jump in and just straight shots, which I probably should have done was more straight shots, right? I was like, damn, this is a bit surprising. But like I said, perfect game plan from him, talk about. And that was the thing I said after the fight. I was so happy and proud of him because it was a great, fantastic display. I was as proud of him as I was bummed for myself. So it was a really weird position for me to be in mentally. But at the end of the day, the way I think of it is if I was going to lose to anybody, glad it was him.
And so when Conor McGregor's telling Ben, you got to keep your chin up, mate, right? Now when Ben sees a Conor McGregor fight, having tried to land a 2-3, it puts a new context on what Conor was able to do to, let's say, Eddie Alvarez.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, dude, I've tried to land a specific combo, and like, how did this dude land 4 shots on a guy who's falling down?
Who's the champion of the
world? And so when I'm saying he's a better commentator for having fought, I would encourage more commentators to fight so that it's one thing to like intellectually know, it's another thing to like actually have done and know, right?
And so obviously you've done boxing now.
Yeah.
Bare knuckle boxing.
Karate combat.
MMA next with John Anik.
Against John, I saw someone put this up on Twitter the other day. They're like, all right, genuine question, who would win? And everyone said that I would die, which is mean. I don't know. I mean, I think Anik's talked about doing MMA before, but I know that he's not super interested in it. I don't want to fight John, man. I don't want to fight anybody that works as a play-by-play commentator. Like the fights that I have, especially from this point forward, I don't know. There are a lot of question marks. I don't even know. But I never.
And you don't have
fight
to say
John.
names, but I'm genuinely curious. Like, what are you looking for? Like, if not that you have to fight again, right? But like, if you were to fight again, would it be more of a? You're saying you don't want to fight a play-by-play commentator, right? But you would like to fight
Somebody else in the media?
right?
No.
Like Dan Tom?
Like a fighter? or-
Dan Tom, no, bro, it's my boy.
Get
Dan's
him
my
there.
man. No, big shouts to Dan. No, I don't know.
Blob Tang, like you know what I mean?
Blob Tang would be funny. See, that'd be viral.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd
So
be
I'm
viral.
like, so he's got a different like metric of like, I don't want to fight a guy that like I think I could beat. He's like, I want to fight the craziest fucking viral moment in a way. Not to saying that like.
Yeah.
There's not people out there you could go viral with, you could still beat, but like Blob Tang would be a challenging fight. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But that would be visually appealing. It would be like, whoa, these two, like,
I think for me, what I look for next, if I was going to fight, which I'm not actively interested in, if I never fight again, I wouldn't be mad. I feel like I've checked the boxes that I needed to. I didn't have anything to prove even before the Gabe Silva fight, even before the Brad Bolton CFFC match, which, again, both of those were not entirely competitive or fair. But I didn't have anything to prove. But I've gone out, and this is all extracurricular. This is icing on top. So, again, if I had to do something, it would have to be MMA next because it's the only thing I haven't done. I've done jiu-jitsu. I've done boxing. I've done karate combat. I've done bare knuckle. The last infinity stone that I could possibly collect is a MMA debut. Now, the question is where? Where would I do that? What platform would it be on? For me, I look at it and I go, I'm a man of constant escalation. I have to always be one-upping or else I'm going backwards and regressing, which is just stupid. I don't think anyone should do that. So I look at it and I go, BKFC, 13,000 people, bullfighting ring in Spain. The only place that I could compete at next would be UFC.
oh,
Right.
shit.
It would be, I'd have to get like, and listen, I'm fine if they throw me on Contender Series, right, in some random showcase, or like prelims of an Apex, right, against somebody. I don't care. But that's the only logical place. That's the only logical place that they could put me on.
Right.
To me, it's logical. To me, it would make sense. I know to many others it wouldn't, but I just don't think I could really like go from what I've done within BKFC and how big that was to them backwards. And so I'd rather not fight than go backwards.
Interesting.
Really? It's like, even if it was with Bellator or PFL.
Oh, if PFL
one
called maybe. If
championship.
PFL wanted to throw me some money, maybe I'd do PFL.
Ben Davis on the Jake Paul undercard, Jake Paul's PFL debut. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
There we go.
See?
Maybe as his opponent. No. Yeah, well, if that, I mean, shit. Actually, talking about people in media that I don't like, that Derek from Better Media guy.
Right.
If he ever was serious about competing, I know Oscar wanted that.
Right.
I would love that fight, but I don't think he'll ever
He
compete.
weighs like $130, right? $120.
I'll cut
maybe.
down. I will remove my left arm to make his weight.
Hey, so what do you weigh right now? Like 50 or something
I
like
was
that?
I weighed myself yesterday. I was 156.
Oh, dude, we'll get you to 30, no problem.
Easy.
No
Easy.
problem.
That's what I told my coach. I was like, dude, if we ever do this again, bantamweight's where we gotta fucking be.
Listen, man, that guy, if he doesn't say yes, he's ducking straight up.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you're not a 250-pound dude.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not a 100-fight fucking pro fighter veteran. You're not
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be around it, but nobody wants to step in there and get the smoke is the issue.
So, I mean, we could probably get that lined up, right? If Jake Paul finally does do a PFL fight, which he is signed to them, right?
Right.
If you could get a fight on that card against Better Derek,
I'd be down for it. Or anyone else. Like I think if Jake
Ray
Paul
Sefo,
doesn't
holler at Ben Davis.
Yeah,
Let's
Sugar
go.
Ray. I think if there was a couple other names, right, that were floated on me and Jake Paul was doing MMA debut, being on that card would be a lot of fun. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
See, I want you to fight Nong Rose in Fight Circus.
I don't
MMA
she
fight.
beat my ass,
No.
bro.
In Muay Thai, she would.
Yeah.
But if
What
you could
changes in MMA? I have no edge, even if the rule set changes.
You can shoot, bro.
Why? I don't grapple. Yeah,
With a
right.
gun?
I would need a 9mm to
I would
beat
just,
Nong Rose.
yeah, okay, right. So
Yeah, me shooting. What wrestling credentials?
you should just meet him on the way in.
I got hope, bro. I got hope.
Hey,
You know
I
what
like
mean?
it. It's the optimist. It's the glass half full mindset.
I'm like,
which
you
I
could
love.
beat a lady boy, bro. You know what I mean? You gotta
Oh,
believe,
man.
She's a
dog.
lady boy?
Gotta
Yeah,
believe-
bro.
No shot, dude.
She's
No
been
way,
pounded
man.
by plenty of men. You know what I mean?
Well, especially at Big Stew's in her corner.
Big stew in the
right
corner.
there.
Yeah. She can take a beating and keep on eating. Let's go.
Gosh.
Oh, no.
Have either of you hung out with Big Stu since
Yes.
Thailand?
Yeah.
I've hung out with him in a couple different cities. Yeah, and you know, he's
How's he doing, man?
He's a changed man.
What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand?
Right,
or-
That's
yeah.
true. I
Yeah,
guess not. Unless we're on the Still Friends show, we're talking about it.
No, so he's currently in America, and he currently does not have any Thai women
There
living
we
with
go.
him, to my knowledge.
Is Big Stu
Congratulations.
single? Has he found someone, or is he he's flying solo
Listen,
still?
he's playing the field.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
I
Big
like it.
Stu's
I like
playing
it.
the field.
Big Stu keeps his options open. I've not seen him since Thailand, man.
No. We'll all have to hang out one day. We'll figure
Yeah.
out a city or something.
Not Thailand. And not nowhere in
Yo, man,
Thailand.
Bring out a city. Big Stu's like Phuket.
I've never been.
Walking
so-
Yeah,
street.
never
Right,
been.
yeah.
Who knows what I like and what I don't like? I might like it, right?
Right. No.
You never know what happens.
You've been to Phuket, right?
I've never. No.
No? Oh, man.
But you fought before.
Yes.
Right. So when
Not-
are you getting back in there? That's the question.
Ooh.
Man, I need some stem cells, to be honest. I've got a little
okay.
bit too many things jacked. I'm a disabled veteran, right? So
Right.
I'm jacked up. I've got my back should be fused, but there's just no discs there anymore.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
So I've got a bunch of things that I should either have surgery on or go see some stem cell specialists for.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna start running steroids. I think that's my next gambit.
Dude,
is just
get juiced up
cycle,
and smoke
dude, straight
somebody,
up.
bro.
Could you imagine me just walking out there built like a tank?
Now we're talking Bane. You know
Now,
what I mean?
yeah,
You got Ben before. Now it's time for Bane.
Yo,
They
that's
drug test
sick.
me, just the cup melts in their hands.
yeah.
You can't even test it. That's how drugged up I am.
Fucking radioactive.
Talking about cups melting.
Yeah.
This weekend, right? Big UFC event. Kai Asakura. Do you think he's got a shot?
No. I mean, everyone has a shot. I'm joking.
yeah.
It's everyone has a chance, and Kai is a very decorated fighter. I think he's got 26 pro fights.
He's a
21
juiced
and
up
4.
Japanese, right?
Juiced up Japanese. That's your words. I think what Kai brings is like the chip on the shoulder, right? You're the cat that's debuting for the title. I think that he's a big underdog, plus 260, plus 300. So I think there's a chip on the shoulder. My only question is, because of the rule set difference, is he going to come in here and there's going to be a moment where he's like, yeah, I'm going to throw a knee to the head of a downed opponent. You know what I mean? Like, if he does that, give him the title.
Just soccer kick to
Soccer
Pantoja's
kick,
head.
give him the title.
Yeah, he's earned it at that point.
Exactly. It's a tough fight, though, man. I think Pantoja, the big thing honestly, bro, the fight is one thing, but he shaved his hair. Bro, he got the buzz cut.
Like Samson, he lost his power.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
He definitely doesn't look as smooth.
No. I saw the photos of him doing the shoot with the belt, and I'm just like, what happened, man? Where'd
Right.
the aura go? You know, but Pantoja is one of the most fantastic fighters on the roster. 9-0 against the top 10 in the flyweight division. Like, that's bananas, right? And I think for the UFC brass, they looked at 125 and were like, we don't have fucking anybody that he can fight. So that's why Usyk kind of got fast passed to the title shot and earned that shot. Then Kai's coming in debuting for a title shot. I love it because it's insane. No other division you see this type of movement and opportunity. So, you know, if you're a 135er, try and find those extra 10 pounds because you could see yourself fighting for a belt in 12 months, right?
Right. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Especially because, I mean, what he's 2-0 against Royval, right?
2-0 against Royval.
3-0 against Moreno.
Yep.
There's really no one else. He's just lapped the division multiple times already, or at least the two guys at the top, right?
I mean, Figgy's the only guy that's beaten him in the last couple of years, right? And now, obviously, Davidson's at bantamweight. So if coming off the loss to Jan, if I'm Figgy, I'd go, well, maybe I'll test the flyweight waters again. It might be impossible for him to get down there, but, you know, when you're the last guy to beat the champ.
You think he gets an instant shot if he was to go back down to flyweight?
I don't know if he'd get an instant shot necessarily, but if he was like, hey, give me Brandon Moreno, right? Moreno Figgy again for the fifth time? Who knows? It's the problem is Figgy's also beaten so many guys in the top.
But I would watch that though.
I'd watch it. A couple
Figgy
years
and
ago.
Moreno again?
Yeah. Or you got to get to 125, man. You shave
bro.
off. Yeah.
Listen, I'm struggling with my weight right now. All I eat is fucking ground beef and fucking steak and lift weights.
Just meat, baby. Just meat.
I'm on an all meat diet. Pause. No Diddy. You know? no Thailand. But yeah, man. Some of these dudes cut a fucking tremendous amount of weight, and it's really incredible. Like, just like, dude, how are you not dead? You know, to make those weight classes.
What's the most weight you've cut?
The most I cut 14 pounds on an airplane on a 30-hour notice fight one time. You know, and then I started to like kind of pass out in the fucking Uber. You know what I mean?
To the weigh-ins. You're dying in the Uber to the weigh-ins.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to just lay on the floor next to the scale and then just let me know when I can weigh in. And then I just like stood on the scale for a little bit and then.
Jesus.
Right, yeah, that one was a tricky one. This last fight that I cut all the weight for, I cut down to 55, and I've been lifting, so I'm getting a little bigger. And I was 75 24 hours after, and I was still rehydrating and eating. So I put 20 pounds back on, and then the guy acted like a vagina and pulled out of the fight when we were the main event for the title. But I looked that man dead in his eyes, and he knew I was going to bounce his head off that red canvas. So he did the right thing he's got a family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He can't go back.
He saved himself the brain trauma. He saved himself the embarrassment in front of all his friends. You know, he has to live with the fact that he knows that he's a pussy.
Yeah.
And he and I know it. But aside from that, man, you know, it's not for everybody. So he was the main event. He was the champion. It was his hometown. I flew out. I cut the weight, you know. And but yeah, that one was probably a quick little 20 in a few days.
Oof.
Jesus.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Where'd you have to fly for that one?
That was Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
And so this gentleman is a big time ticket seller. This gentleman is a big time ticket seller in Oklahoma. And I pulled up, and he's 40 years old. So they had asked for somebody over the age of 35 to fight him. So they thought they were getting a decrepit dude for this dude to sell tickets and sell merch and beat up, and then they put the belt on him. And I showed up, and I got fucking nose to nose and toes to toes with the dude. And I was looking, and so when I'm at the fucking weigh-in and I'm fucking staring the dude down, I'm looking at him like, I have visions like I have like hydraulic arms, and then I'm like Nightcrawler, and I can just disappear. Boom! And I just visualize myself breaking his face and his fucking head exploding. So I'm looking at his eyes like that.
And he's sitting there thinking, am I going to make it home for dinner?
Yeah, exactly.
To see my children?
Yeah, and then he went and sat in the corner, and I'm still looking at him. I'm hyping this dude thinks he can fucking fight me.
Yeah.
He had me fly to fucking Oklahoma. He thinks he's gonna embarrass me.
He made me come to Oklahoma.
Right, I'm gonna
This
I'm
fucking
driving
guy.
my fucking elbows through his head. I'm like looking at him like, dude, fucking look at me, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm like ready to scrap him. I get intense, right?
Yeah.
And he looks over at me and he's like, hey man, I'm not staring at you. I just forgot my glasses, so I can't see. And I was like, oh man.
You're like, I'm gonna beat up an old
I was
man.
like, I hope this guy. I was like,
I'm
well,
gonna
yeah,
kill an
but
old
dog,
guy.
I'm 43 at the time, so I'm older than he is, right? I mean, but like, I'm like 25. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got youthful energy, right?
I got 10x health, right?
Let's go,
straight up,
10x
straight
health.
up.
I got the best fucking cardio in the gym. You know what I mean? And so in my head, I'm like, dude, this guy's head's getting bounced. The ref's gonna have to pull me off, and I think he felt that energy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I cut 8 pounds
Oh,
for
shit.
Karate Combat. And I was like, ooh.
Was that your biggest cut?
Biggest cut. Only cut I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, I did sweatsuit and then we'd do 45-minute run, go do like 3 rounds on the pads and then get in a little sauna. Did it in like an afternoon. But that was the first time I was like, shit, I gotta actually cut, you know. I felt interesting.
You didn't restrict carbs or anything like that?
Nah, man, I eat what I want. I did. I mean, I ate healthy. Like, you know, there was a TGI Fridays next to the hotel. And so I was getting like
TGI
grilled chicken
Fridays.
breast. I was getting broccly, some rice, you know.
Weight cutting tips with Ben the Bane Davis. Let's get it.
Guys, go to TGI Fridays.
But it does bring the question, when is your next fight, David?
Well, so we got Fight Circus coming up in March, which is a whole logistical thing. So it's finally we got a date in March, and that's happened at the Palms. But I told my manager, I said, listen, man, the answer is yes, bro. I don't need to know their record. I don't need to know their fighting style. I don't need to know who they are or where they're from. Forge my signature on the contract and tell me where to show up. I will show up on weight and ready to send my shin through any man on the planet's forehead.
I love it.
That's actually a great answer, but
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I got no fight right now. So
Not yet.
Basically,
Would you do something before March? Would you do something before Fight
dude, I'll
Circus?
do something today, yesterday, tomorrow, next week, last week. The answer is yes. Ben, did you not just hear what I said?
I did.
The
I'm
answer
just
is
saying,
yes,
I'm just
bro.
saying, you know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mess anything up with Fight Circus for you.
No, I mean, I'll scrap 3 times before March and then still go to Fight Circus, shake my dick, and have a fucking pro fight afterwards, you know? Listen, bro. I love life. You know what I mean? So I'm not looking at it like it's like, oh, I gotta fight. And I'm like, dude, I get to fight. I get to get locked in a cage with another dude and send my fists, elbows, knees, and shins at his head, and they're not gonna take me to jail, bro. Let's go. Dude, we're so like domesticated in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like in the cage, you get to be an animal. And I'm like, dude, so we're spiritual, we're physical, and we're mental, right? And so in the physical world, we're doing this, and we're like talking, and then in cage, you get to be like, you know what I mean? And just like snort and growl and call the dude all kinds of derogatory names while you're elbowing him and like, dude, I'm gonna knock you out in front of your mother, bro. Just fucking listen to your corner, posture up. And he postures up, you put your fucking stand up, and boom, gonna head kick at him again, and you just see the panic set in his eyes, and you're like, dude, he's gonna shoot again. This fucking pussy-ass panic wrestler, I'm gonna butcher him. And that's like a very, 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 very good feeling to have. And I love that feeling, and I'm so grateful I get to fight. So that's where my head's at.
This is why some people are made to be fighters. King David was fucking built to be a fighter. You know, this is...
You talk about that animalistic thing, and the guy, Igor, right? The UFC fighter who was getting taken down, he turned, he bit old boy.
Right, yeah.
How do you blame him?
He went a little too far. He got a little too lost in the sauce on that one, you know?
Yeah. So sometimes it gets a little crazy in there. I mean, I've had my eyes raked. You know, I've had people stick like thumbs into stuff. You know, one time this dude... little steroid head, right? He was picking me up in the air and I'm like elbowing his head. And then after the fight, I'm like, dude, my elbow's so fucking sore right now. I'm like, what is that? I was like, oh, that was from elbowing him. And then I was like, dude, imagine what his head feels like right now. And I went in the back and he's just like slumped against the wall and his head's wrapped up like a turban with ice. And he just looks like a fucking pumpkin head at this point. He's got like welts all over his face. And I'm just like, dude, I turned that man into a pumpkin. Let's go. Bro, it's not even Halloween.
I was spamming leg kicks, right? And I could not walk. My foot was swollen like a fucking softball.
Right.
I'm in the back like, fuck, I'm such a bitch. He comes walking into the back with crutches, and then some people like picked him off the crutches and were carrying him in. He couldn't walk because his leg was so jacked up.
That's the part that they don't see, right? Yeah. They don't see you like, dude, my foot is damaged from fucking that guy up.
Yeah.
And that guy is like, headed to the hospital because he can't get on an airplane because he'll get compartment syndrome in his leg because his leg's so damaged that he can't fly.
He'll get a blood clot. He'll die,
right.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people don't realize that there's like consequences.
Yeah.
Right. It looks like, hey, we got bright lights and like there's ring girls and everybody's happy, hey, cheering. It's like, dude, in the back, man, there's like blood and tears and dudes crying and people puking on the floor and like, dude, a guy got kicked in the nuts last night.
Yeah.
And I was concerned. I thought they popped a testicle, bro. It was this dude was like, I'm not putting him on blast. I'm not judging him. I don't know what he was feeling.
But his name is.
No.
His home address.
Okay, so he's a cage fighter. He's physically crying from the pain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe his nut got caught in the Thai cup and the Thai cup crushed it when he got kicked. And it was brutal, bro. The dude's in the back just like basically vomiting from a nut kick.
Which is like when you see those instances play out and you know how tough fighters are to get them to that point. That's why I always say that's real. Like very few times is someone faking it, right? Or playing up an injury or a foul. Like more often than not, it genuinely is just like these are the toughest sons of bitches in the world, and that's the most painful fucking thing that you can experience. So like I was sitting there with you last night, and the dude was down for minutes and minutes and minutes, and I'm just like I empathize with that, man. That sucks. I've never damaged someone enough to have these experiences.
See, Ben's a better person than me. Ben's like, I empathize. And when I saw him get kicked in the nuts and he couldn't get up, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do. I'm just saying this is what I did. I yelled small injury.
You dickhead.
And this was in front of the peppermint hippo girls and you know, and
dude's mom is right there, turns
looking
around.
at me like, what is wrong with you? And I'm just like, okay, I said that out loud. All right. So anyway, and then it turns out the dude's really injured and now I'm an asshole, right? So yeah. That was the nut shot.
It reminds me of that fight of the two heavyweights. Old boy kicks him in the groin, and then the other dude lands like an overhand right.
Oh, the PFL fight?
Yeah.
That was an amazing. Talk about the best PFL highlight of all time.
Probably,
you know what I mean?
the PFL's ever had.
It epitomizes the organization where there's a simultaneous nut shot and an overhand that knocks someone down. I'm just like, that's...
What do you make of that with a lot of the PFL guys, or Bellator guys, coming out and saying that, you know, they've been struggling to get fights throughout the year and...
Well, Patchy Mix is the best fighter in the world. He's currently signed to Bellator, and he needs a fight. The best guy in the world in his prime, and he's not fighting. It's crazy. So, listen, I hope Bellator gets him 100 fights. And if not, let him go to where he can flourish. Because everybody that trains with Patchy will agree Patchy's the best person on the planet.
Well, I mean, have you seen him grapple with Marab?
Listen, what happens in the gym stays in the gym, so I've got no comment on that subject matter, but I'm just saying that Patchy's a bad motherfucker, dude. No. But for real, though, like, and stylistically, things are different, right? I train with both of them. I'm bigger than both of them. Patchy fucks me up, bro. It like, keeps me up at night. You know what I mean? I'm like, this dude, I outweigh this dude, and he's balling me up. And I'm just like, he's my like inspiration to get better at martial arts. I'm like, dude, if he's doing it, it's learnable. You know, and so that's how I approach it. So yeah,
and that's why that is why it magnifies how frustrating it is to see him get iced and put on the shelf. Same thing with Pitbull, right? The GOAT of Bellator sitting there going, I can't get a fucking fight. That's ridiculous. That cat sacrificed so much for that company. And now, in the final frames of his career, instead of getting these glorious moments to go out on a high note or have some competitive last couple matchups, he's getting nothing, you know, and Leandro Higo, same situation.
Let's talk to one of the Saudi Arabian sheiks to throw him some money or something. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Saudi princes, can you send Bellator some money so they can pay these guys to fight right now?
I think the thing is, because
what's the issue, dude? Let my dude fight, bro.
I think they already have that link up with the Middle East. Obviously, they do those shows in Riyadh, and I think the big problem with the PFL right now is there is a issue of overextending themselves. You've got PFL MENA, you've got PFL Europe, you've got the Global League, and then when you're trying to simultaneously run Bellator, shit slips through the cracks. And unfortunately, this year that has been Bellator. They've had, 3 canceled events? 3 canceled events.
Oh, shit.
Come on.
It's crazy.
So we're talking about dozens of athletes that have been in fight camp, really slaving away for these opportunities to advance themselves, and then it just gets wiped off the calendar and you don't see consequences. And that's what frustrates me the most. You get nothing from the organization in terms of transparency, in terms of accountability at times. Look at that instance with Diane Silva. Diane Silva was cutting weight for a Bellator London card, I think, goes into a coma, and then from what I understand, and I could be wrong, I want to put that out there. I could not have all the facts, right? But from what I understand, what I saw, there was a bit of trying to control the narrative and suppress that story from getting out. And so when you have a fighter in a coma and your reaction isn't taking fucking care of them to the best of their ability, and PFL did retroactively, brought one of her teammates out, took care of the medical expenses. That was great to see. I'd like to see that. I should have seen that first. I shouldn't have seen people going, man, they're suppressing X, Y, and Z. That's awful. That's a terrible look if that's true, right? And so if people are writing these articles and creating this content about your organization fucking with someone that's currently in a coma, bad PR.
Right.
And I think that's the whole last couple months, last year, is bad PR. You know, they just had their big night, the richest night in combat sports, millions and millions of dollars being given out. Now, a week later, nobody cares. Everyone's moved on to the next thing.
Well, yeah, so Bellator's got its challenges, and people hate on Dana White. Oh, fighter pay. Listen, Dana's shows go on. They the guy's got a well-oiled machine. Like if they say you're fighting, you're fighting. These other organizations can't even, dude, they're giving out millions of dollars and then they're canceling shows, and you don't know if you're gonna be a millionaire or a homeless person. Like, imagine the life. You're starving. You're cutting weight. You're training every day. Every day you're getting into 7 to 10 fist fights with the best dudes on the planet, beating people up, getting your ass beat. Fucking, I got an injury. I got a fight in 2 weeks, but my fucking finger don't bend. You know, like, bro, everything. My back, my knee. Oh, I think I tore my knee, but I got to go fight anyway. Oh, I got a staph infection. Should I tell the team? Like, there's all this crazy shit that's happening to fighters, and then these other organizations can't even keep their fights going, and then people got the audacity to complain about Dana. Dude, Dana's setting the example for everybody else. Like, dude, whatever they're doing, model that.
And I think that's the thing, is the season format just isn't working at this point. It was a great gimmick, I think, to get interest and differentiate. I think it was. I think there's a way that it can work. It needs to be modified severely. I think Luke Thomas or somebody said this. They were like, listen, they should just pick one weight class a year, do that tournament for that weight class, and have that be that. And then everything else on the cards, all the other events are just maybe traditional 1-versus-1 and normal MMA. But, you know, Bellator did Grand Prix to, I would say, pretty successful levels, you know, and they were exciting and fun to watch and usually stayed together. But the problem is when your whole shtick revolves around this season format and there's not really a lot of clarity on how these people are getting matched up for the quarterfinals or those first matchups, right? There's kind of unknown. And then you're mixing things up in the semis, Natan Schultz beating Haush Manfiel and then getting disqualified by being boring, and Shane Burgos getting pumped in despite not having enough points to have been in that position in the first place. Well, there goes the legitimacy. There goes the integrity. There goes the season format, the most fair type of league, compromised their own intention with that, right? So it's just weird. I think that there's a lot of great people at the PFL. They have so many smart individuals, but my thing is, again, overextending. PFL Mana, PFL Europe, Global League, you have to pick, sit, and excel. Crush it. And, you know, you say you want to be the co-leader in this space, you don't want to be the number 2, then you got to concentrate. And unfortunately, this year it's come at the expense of the Bellator fighters.
Yeah, and so I've been backstage. My ex-girlfriend used to fight for the PFL. And so I've learned 2 things about the PFL. One, I had a great experience. They were super organized. You know, that event went on, right? So I don't know about these other events that aren't going on. I just know that everything was professional. And 2, Kayla Harrison is buff as shit. That's the other thing I learned. I think she's kind of sexy, but I like fit women, right?
You know, a fire hydrant.
But like, I'm like, you know, I start wondering, like, I think I could wear her out, though. You know what I mean? Like,
you're seeing, all right, if I go under here.
She was just hip taught your ass.
Hey, girl, you ever been out to dinner with a man in a reindeer onesie? You know what I mean? So, yeah, so those are the 2 things I learned about PFL.
She's great, man. Kayla is such a phenomenal athlete.
She's
Like,
lost a lot of weight though, man. It's like a little less fire hydrant-y. You know what I mean? I'm starting to lose interest. I'm like, girl, like do some fucking deadlifts, get some squats in there or something. You know what I mean? I like buff.
like some meat on the bone. There is no world in which Kayla Harrison doesn't become the UFC bantamweight champion.
That's what I was about to ask next.
There's no way she doesn't win.
She
that
looks
title.
so dominant.
Too dominant. And Juliana Pena getting the title shot after being 50-43'd by Amanda Nunes, taking, 18 months off, and then walking right back into that title shot with Raquel Pennington. Not really doing fantastic, in my opinion. It was a competitive fight, but I had Raquel. And then getting on the microphone afterwards, calling out Amanda, saying Amanda's ducking her. Listen, there's good heels in this business. There's people that know how to operate and maneuver on a microphone.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
And there's people that don't. And I think Juliana Pena is an example of someone who tries very hard. And I love the effort. I love the attempt. But sometimes she misses the mark. And when you have Kayla Harrison right there on the same card who just put on a great display, who's the most deserving contender, and you're calling out someone who retired a while ago that 50-43'd you most recently, to me, that doesn't make sense. To me, that's missing the mark. And I don't know.
So you would like to see her call out Kayla?
Oh, yeah. That would have made sense. I think the fan base would have gravitated around it because they would have gone, thank you, Juliana. Thank you for calling out the most deserving person, for calling out a badass who just had a great performance, saying, give me that. Give me the smoke. Yeah. Instead of saying, I want the retired person that beat me up and 50-43'd me. That's who I want because they're running for me.
And so let me ask you this. You would say that the Kayla fight is a bigger pay-per-view draw than getting Amanda out of retirement?
That's not what I was saying at all.
Okay, because if we're looking at it from a financial aspect,
right.
If she could drag let's say hypothetically speaking, she believes both of these matchups are bad matchups for her.
Yeah.
Right? Which one am I gonna get paid and ride off into the sunset?
If you're going at it from a business sense, probably the Amanda Nunes one.
Okay.
But I think the likelihood of that occurring is very slim, right? So then you play in this realm of
So she's gonna get Kayla anyway.
Right.
We might as well build it.
Exactly. You might as well not no-sell the number one contender, right? And then diffuse interest by virtue of your actions. I get completely, the business side of it, the financial side of it should always be the priority. But if the business side of it eclipses what is realistic and what's in reality, then you just look dumb. And again, you've got this very deserving contender who does have a lot of hype. Kayla Harrison has a lot of hype. Yeah. Right? Kayla Harrison.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
She's a bad motherfucker.
Two-time gold medalist, multi-time PFL champ, now the number one contender at 135. Yes.
Single mom. You know what I'm saying? Dude, no, for real though. She's doing her thing, dog. No, for real. Like some of these dudes are like, hey man, I do this, that, and that. I'm like, there's people out here raising kids. There's a chick from China in the UFC that's like, hey, I'm
baby.
a doctor too. Like,
let's go.
Like what? Bro, you're just like a doctor and your side quest is like to go
scrap a UFC fighter. Like, I'm all aboard the Shi Ming train, baby.
Yeah,
give me more Shi Ming.
She's insane.
She's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that.
Talking about picking fights for career, for legacy, for money. What do you think about the whole John Jones, Tom Aspinall situation? Because it looks like it's going to be put together now, right?
John Jones is the baddest man on the planet. Listen, for real, my uncle's Hulk Hogan. Okay, and at one point they brought in Ultimate Warrior. And my uncle was like, dude, I get that Warrior's hot, but he's a flash in the pan. And RIP Warrior, right? But my uncle was right. The second that they put the belt on Warrior, Warrior came and was asking for $1 million an appearance or something crazy, right? And then he lost being hot, he lost his popularity, and they put the belt back on Hulk. So it's similar to this. John Jones has beat up everybody that's ever been put in front of him. And it's like, we have a new up-and-coming contender. He's like, dude, I beat fucking 20 of those dudes. I beat legends. I beat every flash in the pan that you brought up. I beat guys that you were like, oh, that was a close fight. And then that guy goes on and loses fights right after it. It's like, dude, John Jones is the absolute GOAT. I think he smokes Tom Aspinall, despite what anybody says. I don't give a flying fuck, bro. It's like, that's cool that Tom's got fast feet. You know what I mean? He's got good footwork. But I just think that John Jones is a complex puzzle who, this last fight, he finished with a turning sidekick. He drilled that turning sidekick 3 hours a week for 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, he's dedicated. So he could do all the blow he wants. He can go out and have a couple drinks of whiskey or whatever he likes, proper 12, or howler head, whatever he prefers. He could do whatever he wants. But if he's in there and he's drilling the turning sidekick, he's an athletic talent that's able to go hit that under the lights, And the president's right here, and he's doing moves that he just practiced in the gym.
And then he hit the president in this dance, and
Right,
bro, perfect timing with the point, and then the thumbs up with it.
Then put the belt on.
Incredible.
That night could not have gone better for John Jones.
Right, for
it
America.
could not have gone better for America. For the United States, we needed John.
RFK Jr. in the background standing there. It was perfect.
RFK's out there with a six-pack, about to do some calisthenics. He's getting hyped up.
The worm in his brain doing, jumping jacks. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, I think I see both sides of it. So
I'm over here I'm like, oh, he's so composed and so professional, and then he hits that, and like, yeah. So, John, what?
John Jones is in many ways the greatest of all time, right? I think that is the consensus opinion, and there's a few ways of looking at it and filtering it, and you might have someone as your top spot if you care about this, that, or the other. But like what he's done in the sport, like you said, it's ridiculous, taking out all these top guys for so many years. My thing was, the Cyril Gane fight, we saw the blueprint with Francis Ngannou. So John, great, excellent win, #1 contender. I loved it. I want to see more of him at 265, right? And then the pectoral injury happened, and I think that's where things get split for me because, right, he would have faced Stipe, gotten Stipe out of the way, and then I'm sure that the Tom Aspinall matchup would have had a lot more justification. But then the tear happens.
But they were also talking about Sergey back, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, that was the guy that was going to get John Jones, and now that's like, who even thought that? It's like, dude, everybody was saying that, right? And it's right.
It's what happens. It's always what happens.
Right.
I think
John Jones can shoot in on Tom Aspinall, and if he gets stuffed, I believe John Jones is so good and so dedicated, he can pull guard and submit Tom Aspinall from his back. He threw Rampage? He threw up a flying triangle on?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Dude, come on.
I don't know. I don't see John Jones beating Tom Aspinall.
No, bro.
I don't.
Bro.
And we can differ on that.
We're gonna bet 10 body shots on that. You know what I mean? Not the kind in Thailand. I'm talking about my fist punching each other in the
we
stomach.
can do that. We can bet 10 body shots.
Not any man on man drinking at each other's belly buttons or whatever. whatever you and Big Stu like to do.
I will do 10 shots of tequila off you if this person loses.
Hey, if John Jones loses, and I'm gonna drink 10 shots out your belly button, bro. You know what I mean?
I think John,
what do you think that fight looks like?
So John put on a masterclass against Stipe. He was in control the entire time, driver's seat, every single round, every single exchange even. I mean, Stipe had a little bit of success, but man, John looked tremendous in there. The thing is, it's either going to be like how every Tom Aspinall fight's been, where it's a first round demolition and he's just too quick, he is too precise, does what he wants, and that's game over. Or we see John, which I think this is how it could happen, extend him outside the first round, and then it becomes a bit of a dogfight. And then this is where I think the age might affect John Jones a little bit. Father time is father time. And John Jones is 38. By the time this fight happens, if it does, he'll probably be 39, I have to assume. And I don't know, there was a lot of slow movement against Stipe. I didn't see a lot of pop. Tom's got pop. Tom's a quick cat. And so I think that there's a world in which if you put prime John versus prime Tom, it's prime John Jones. But I think this version of John Jones struggles with Tom. And if
if Stipe's really good and he just looked like that because John is really, really, really good? So people are like, oh, Stipe looks slow. It's like, it's hard to look good against John.
Right.
And John's training with Gordon Ryan, bro. And he's training with Gable Stevenson. Right, dog. He's going to go in there and he's going to maul this dude.
I just don't see it occurring.
And then he's going to go to the after party, and he's going to do whatever he wants, bro. And listen, he's going to be the fight of the night and the life of the party, straight up. And there's nothing anybody. I know we could want it. The heavyweight world champ should be dude. Listen, I train better when I'm covered in glitter after coming out the strip club. Okay, some of us are a little bit wild, right? And I think John's got a little bit of that in him. You let him get a little wild. And he can start feeling himself, and he's like, I'm a bad motherfucker. And then he goes in there and fucks that dude up, bro.
I think it just depends on how you look at the sport, right? If you want to call it a sport, you have the interim champ.
And you're allowed to say that because you fought. If you had not fought, I would not even engage in this conversation with you.
You would have already attacked me.
I think that was the craziest thing, even just watching that fight happen or even seeing the fight getting booked, was Tom Aspinall defended an interim championship.
Exactly.
I've never seen that done before.
Tom's got what, 6 wins over the top 10, 5 wins over the top 10. So he is, in my opinion, the guy who has done more at heavyweight than John Jones.
John is going to
I don't know if you can deny that.
cheeks.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the fight just manifest. The fact that you've got the interim champ sitting front row.
I want to see him fight Pereira, bro.
That's what I want to see, to be honest. Come on, bro.
Let's go.
I'm not going to play that game.
LFG.
And I want
all that Brazilian witchcraft and shit, dog.
Do you? Okay.
Yes. Would that not be one of the greatest stories in combat history ever?
I want it to happen at heavyweight.
Yeah.
That way, there's the chance of the fucking three-peat, the hat trick, the triple champ. The thing that Henry Cejudo was talking about, and then he realized that maybe not the path for him, right? Yeah. Granted, he's a gold medalist and he's a 2-time champion, but he was, what was he going to go, 4C, but he was going to have 3 belts in UFC.
Yeah.
Right? He was going to go up and fight Volk.
Yeah.
But listen, Alex has a chance to do that. Mm-hmm. There's a world, as slim as it may be and as much as our hearts may want it to happen, that he lands a fucking hook and just puts his lights out. Right? So that's an actual possibility that he might be a 3-division world champion. And to me, that's much more entertaining because he is a 2-time champ. He does have a legacy. He was a world champion in kickboxing, and now he's going to fight John Jones, the baddest motherfucker ever to put on 4-ounce gloves. But you know what I'm saying, bro? And then you're telling me, oh, well, we got a white dude with quick feet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you're racist, bro. You only want it because he's white and you're white.
Hold on. I think again, this is where
I said the quiet part out loud. Okay, my bad. My bad.
I think this is where the UFC...
So you're saying you don't want a person of color, a Brazilian, to fight another person of color in John Jones, is what you're saying here. No, as a white man
that is not at all what I'm suggesting.
Who refuses to check his privilege.
I would love
your trouble on, bro. We're good.
I would love to see every person of color succeed.
Yeah, give me these juiced up japs all day. I'm with it. Let's go.
Here's the thing: this is where the UFC creates problems for itself, because when you're putting on an interim title fight between Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall, that then creates the precedent that the winner of such matchup will immediately go face the champ when he's healthy, ready to come back to action. That's just how interim championships are defined, right? So the UFC, they honestly, when you look back at this retroactively, they shouldn't have put the interim belt on the line for that fight. They should have just said, hey, we've got an excellent showcase of top 5 heavyweight talent that we're going to add instead of Stipe and John for this card. That's what they should have done.
Because we got Ben telling Dana what he should have done. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying, listen, this is just one man's opinion. This is just one man's opinion. But like the fact that...
I'm like fucking with you, but I'm kind of like not. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, but to that...
So I agree with you, actually.
But
then I go, Dana's a fucking billionaire, so
point,
I'm wrong.
But you can't talk about Patchy Mix not getting opportunities and then shit on Tom Aspinall for being the defending interim champ, sitting, why the fuck am I not trying to unify? You can't big up Patchy and then shit on Tom. That's not how it works.
Oh, shit. To your point, though, Alex has multiple belts, not interim titles.
But to
right?
your point with Dana,
he's got a case as well.
The amount of draw that's come out of this whole Dana John and Aspinall situation, it's blowing up the sport, I feel like, to another level.
The oil sheik, the Saudi prince dude, said he's going to send Dana White to the moon. He's going to give him so much money because he wants John Jones versus Francis.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if you heard that yet.
That happened yesterday, was it?
Yes,
he's going to physically give him cash in a briefcase that he can then go buy a rocket ship to the moon. That's how much money.
He did. Turkey also said he's going to give Mike Tyson $700 million to rematch Jake Paul. So I'm like...
Do you think he's bluffing, though?
I don't think he's bluffing. I know he has that.
He's smoking that good shisha out there.
Turkey can do anything he wants. I'd like to see that fight. Now, I want Aspinall
just playing.
first.
He wouldn't do that. That's haram. But anyway, right.
But when you think about it, Ngannou versus Jones, you've got Francis Ngannou, who is the lineal UFC heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. You got to beat the man to be the man. Nobody beat Francis Ngannou inside MMA. He left with the belt. So for me, there's such intriguing story
So in a way...
Not more than Aspinall.
No. In a way, John and Aspinall are both interim champs. Because Francis bounced with the fucking belt. He dropped his nuts on the table. He said, here's your belt back, and I'm going to go over here and get a paycheck.
That's Ngannou, the lineal champ. Right. John, the UFC heavyweight champ. Aspinall, interim heavyweight champ. That's the discussion here. Alex Pereira, light heavyweight champ, former middleweight champ. So you do have so many storylines here. The problem is, again, activity, right? Tom Aspinall's a very active guy. John Jones, I think, again, with the age, with that injury, he hasn't fought as actively as possible. There might be a world in which we get all of this. King David, we could get all of this.
What? But the only way that happens really is if John
John
beats Tom,
yep,
he'll get the Alex fight.
Yep. I think he beats Alex.
Yeah, and then the oil sheik comes in and is like, dude, Dana, my brother. You know what I mean? And then he's like, I'm a back the Brinks truck up. I want to see it for my own personal enjoyment. And then that guy gets what he wants.
But
Yeah.
can Dana,
if that guy wants a steak, he gets a
gets
steak.
done.
can Dana
Right?
risk the reputability of the brand of the UFC though by the chance of their champion losing to another heavyweight champion that's not with his organization?
But when you look at the
Oh, that's easy. You just start talking about how old John Jones is. It's going to be a miracle. John Jones is 40 years
Tom
old
would've
now.
beat him.
That's how I beat him.
40 years old John Jones is making history. 40 years old. 40,
Right.
just keep bringing up 40 years old. And in the event that he does lose, then you just, he was 40, bro. Come on. You know what I mean? We've been saying that in all the promos.
And he's already the greatest of all time in many people's ideas, right? So whatever John Jones does next, it's icing on top. It's extracurricular. So I think let's paint this picture. John Jones defends against Tom Aspinall, beats him, right? Dominates him. We go, oh shit, that's a bad motherfucker. Alex Pereira steps up to the plate, gets submitted. Oh my God, John Jones doing it again, adding to the legacy. Final fight of John Jones's career. Francis Ngannou. Do it in Riyadh, do it wherever Turkey wants. And that's it. That's the swan song. Right?
Let's reverse the order. John Jones goes in there, 2 weeks notice, double legs Alex. Alex tries to wrestle. No. Alex tries to wrestle up, gets put in a guillotine.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan says, lower your shoulder, his shoulder, right? Your wrist goes higher, right? He's got technical details.
I like that Gordon's here.
Gordon Ryan has technical details, bro.
Yeah.
He's the best grappler on the planet, and he's in the best athlete we've ever seen and the best fighter on the planet's quarter. So he's going to tell him, sink your shoulder lower, bring your head across the center line, right? And then he's going to wrap that palm-to-palm guillotine up, choke Alex out. And then in another 2 weeks, he didn't take any damage. He goes and fights Tom Aspinall.
We're talking same month. We're talking one calendar month.
1 month, 1 year,
Well, he doesn't have
whatever,
to cut,
doesn't matter.
So, you know, it's possible.
Yeah, so there's a scenario where he goes in that fight, chokes him out, gets the belt, does the Trump dance, and comes out unscathed, and then goes on and fights Tom anyway. Or just bounces out and collects a bag because Dana's like, yo, man, send me that Saudi money, man. You know?
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall has a fight in the meantime. He gets beat up. People go, oh, dude, he couldn't have beat John Jones anyways, right? And then And then we get the fucking Saudi fight on Mars or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The moon. They're gonna do that fight on the moon, bro. That's what I got out of
Turkey's
that.
building a base.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think's more likely? John Jones fights Tom Aspinall or John Jones fights Francis Ngannou?
I think it's more likely he fights Aspinall because I think the issue with doing an Ngannou fight is you'd have to deal with PFL and you need that cross collaboration. And I think Dana's been quite vocal that he's not interested in doing anything with the PFL. So it would almost have to be a scenario in which either John leaves the UFC and goes to PFL, or Francis leaves PFL and goes back to the UFC and they do an event there. I think that's the only world in which it could happen because I don't see them co-promoting and working together. Right? Because like you mentioned earlier, for Dana, there's not much to gain by doing a co-promotion with PFL. PFL is the one that stands to gain everything from putting Ngannou up against Jones. So
I disagree. I know a lot of rich people, and they got rich because they don't like being told no.
Yeah.
And money can move mountains. And this dude is the richest dude. He's so rich that they don't even talk about how rich he is because he's got like trillions of dollars. Mm-hmm. If this guy wants that fight to happen, that fight's gonna happen. And Dana's gonna be happy about it because Dana's a businessman. So if they make the right offer, let's say they go, hey, PFL, we're gonna give you 100 mil, we're gonna get Francis out of there, or whatever. I'm just making up numbers.
yeah.
They get Francis out of there. Francis re-signs with the UFC. The Sheik pays him instead of UFC having to come out of pocket. Problem solved. If that guy wants the fight to happen, the fight's happening. Now, if it happens on the moon, that's a little bit of a bigger investment. But that's what I'm hoping for.
You keep going galactic.
Right,
You keep
let's
going
go.
galactic. It's going to go down on the moon.
Dana's hanging out with Elon Musk. Yeah, right. Elon Musk has rockets. They can do that.
we can do it
You know
on
what
a
I mean?
rocket.
And
We can do it on the rocket to the moon.
He was
have
at the
him fight.
UFC too. He was looking at memes
Yeah.
and shit, right? You know what I mean? He's running SpaceX from his phone. Like, hey, shit, that's John Jones. Hey, let me send this rocket up real quick. And yo, Dana, I got you a couple $100 million for that thing and a rocket ship. Let's go.
But even Turkey makes him look broke, basically.
Right.
When you think about the money that he's got compared to Elon, especially liquid cash.
Yeah.
Right.
Elon-
And so I've thought about that. Like, you know, people are like, oh, dude, I need to work hard and get more money, right? And I'm like, what if you just woke up and you were like a Saudi prince? right? You would like, so there's not a correlation. You know what I mean? So like
It's a
sometimes-
genetic lottery.
I know we're getting way off topic, right? But like there's like these limiting beliefs we have in our heads that like things are attached to other things, and it's like those are correlation, they're not causation. You know what I mean? So there's some people on this planet that like are richer than anybody else has ever been in human history, and they don't like have to quote unquote work, let alone hard. I don't know. I'm just trying to expand your minds, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to get that alpha
All right,
brain going.
man, yeah, man.
No, the genetic lottery it's such an interesting thing because like
I'm also on 400 milligrams of caffeine. 200 milligrams.
Yeah, I'm on cat right now. I'm on the big K, dog.
Yo, let's go to Excess
My heart
nightclub.
stopped 20 minutes ago.
No, bro. I'm high as fuck on caffeine right now and L-theanine and lion's mane's mushrooms. So maybe what I'm talking about isn't making a whole lot of sense.
That's why I keep
But
bringing
I'm
out the
having
moon,
fun.
man.
Let's
That's why you keep
go,
going
bro.
big.
Last thing before we get out of here.
yeah.
The whole Conor McGregor situation. What do you guys make of it?
Well, what I make of Bo Nickel is that a lot of people are hating on Bo Nickel. Meanwhile, he just smoked a dude that has beaten like world champions. That guy's finished world champions, and the object of the fight is to hit and not get hit. So that's actually martial arts. And it can upset whoever, and people can want to see him bang. People can say, I want him to take him down and play in his guard and give him a chance. It's like, no, dude, martial arts is like eliminating the chance of the other dude. And he did that. Now we can talk about Conor McGregor.
Well, what I have to add to that is when you think about Jamal Hill, I think Jamal is doing such an interesting job promoting himself to the point where it's turning me around. I was for a very long time, and you know this, I was a little bit critical of one Jamal Hill because I was like, why are you saying the things you do? Why are you acting the way that you are? But now I see the vision. I see the hilarity in what he does. Jamal today pulled up on Alex Pereira at the Apex and was just yapping. Alex throws gloves at him and was like, listen, you want to spar? We can spar. And Hill didn't do anything. He was just yapping and then walked away. Alex doesn't speak English. You know, it's so funny to me that Jamal just walks up, talks shit to a guy that can't speak English. The guy's like, hey, we can spar. And he's like, no. I'm here to talk, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, if you want to fight me, they need to cut a check.
Yeah, but that's exactly what he said. He's
Right.
like, for no money, no. And I'm like, he is such an anomaly. And like, I've crossed the path of being annoyed from him to just being in awe of Jamal.
So what, is he a troll job? What is it?
I don't know. I truthfully
He's
don't
trying
know.
to get a fight and a paycheck,
Yeah.
bro. That's what he's doing.
That's
A
all
good
he's
job
about.
at it.
He's
Yeah.
doing a good. He's
Shout
making
out to that
conversation.
guy.
I have been one of his most critical people, but I truthfully, at this point in time, I have to say, Jamal, it is entertaining every day. Whenever he opens, it's almost like Bryce Mitchell. Anytime they open their mouths, I know I'm gonna be entertained, and honestly, I can be content with that. You know,
Well, Bryce Mitchell was just like UFC Theo Vaughn, right?
100%. Yeah, drilled his balls off and then
wow.
said he doesn't believe in seatbelts this week. What does that even mean? You know, like, what do you mean
Hey
you
man,
don't
birds
believe?
are fake, bro. You know what I'm saying? Birds are fake. No, but so Conor, right? So
All right.
there's a case against Conor. They're alleging a lot of really bad stuff, and then there are people on the internet who are called conspiracy theorists that say Conor started speaking out against illegal aliens coming to Ireland. He spoke out and said he was going to run for president to stop the global military industrial complex from promoting their one world government agenda. And all of a sudden he's getting these charges, right? So those are the two things that are happening with Conor. As far as him fighting, I think Conor's one of the most talented people on the planet. And I think that 6 weeks training camp, he comes back in there and cuts through Michael Chandler like butter, mate.
Was that your Irish accent?
Yeah, bro.
Like butter.
butter.
Like butter. I don't know. It's
I'm
such-
gonna break your nose, mate.
That was better. It's
Okay,
getting better.
all right, we're getting there. We're getting there.
I do think if he had 6 weeks, I don't know, because you think about the last couple years for him and his focus outside of the ring, outside of training, like I have to imagine that that's going to impact his ability in ring when they fight. But I do think it's a great matchup for him. I think if you're going to fight anybody, it's got to be Mike Chandler. That's probably the best person in the top 15 that Conor can beat. As it pertains to everything that's going on with him outside the cage, it's crazy. It's tough to see. You know,
People love Michael Chandler because Michael Chandler is willing to make poor choices. You know, like he'll stand and trade with Conor and be like, dude, one of us is gonna go. You know what I mean? And that's what people come to see.
Yeah.
And that type of thought process plays right into Conor's like, and if Conor can come in there, I'm talking like karate Conor.
Yeah.
I'm talking Ito Portal Conor. You know what I mean? Where he's doing touch butt in the park and fucking smoking dudes like with one hitter quitters.
Pre-2017 type Conor,
Well, I was
right?
going to say, that was like 10 years ago.
No, but like, listen.
It was not recent, unfortunately.
He just needs 6 weeks to get his shit back together. That's it, right? But listen, we all have friends who've gone on benders and then got their shit back together.
But a 7-year bender,
That's hard to walk back in a month
I
and a
set
half.
records. I own all the
Yeah.
numbers. A 7-year bender, and I come straight back into the main event, mate. That's what he's doing.
I don't know. I think I'd have to see something.
He's still going to break pay-per-views. He's still going to break Chandler's nose. He's still going to break every international gate record ever set, and he's still the notorious Conor McGregor.
Well, we know he's not a Mike Chandler fan.
I do. I love Mike Chandler, but I'm just saying stylistically, like, okay, then who better?
Then Connor?
No, who
Or-
better? For Conor.
For Connor, no one's better. I think it's the perfect matchup.
So
But-
we agree.
Yeah.
Okay, because you were
We're
just
in
kind of
agreement.
like,
I'm
you're
joking
giving
on
me-
you. I'm
you're
joking
giving-
on you.
Listen, we don't need to spar again, my guy. We're about to have another viral clip up in this motherfucker.
I think
Max Holloway would be fun.
Max would be a very fun one for Connor. Run that back, see if Max can get some vengeance. But I kind of have the thought process of, does this make Connor's return bigger than maybe before, right? The whole civilly liable of rape thing. Because if you look at Mike Tyson way back in the day, that was criminal conviction, right?
I thought that was civil court.
That
as
was
well.
civil as
I
well?
believe it
No,
was.
Mike Tyson went to prison.
Yeah, I'm
So
pretty
it
sure he
had
went
to
to
be-
prison.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
he
had to be
was in
criminal,
prison.
So he was
prison.
criminally
yeah.
convicted of rape, and when he came out, it was, I mean, everybody was like, "Oh my God, what version of Mike Tyson are we going to see?" So, does this
And he bopped
make it-
Peter McNeely up.
Was it, what,
Yeah.
6
He
months out
came
of
out to
prison?
time
something
for
like
some
that?
time for
Think
some
so.
action. Time for some action. I still remember that walkout. You know what I mean? And he came
Yeah.
out.
Not
and-
that old, buddy.
Listen, I am, dog. I am, bro. Let's go. And I'm still fucking running. Let's go, dog.
But it's just crazy to see somebody that, like, at one point in time, again, was the definition of the sport that helped scale MMA to a more mainstream audience, put it on his shoulders in a certain regard, and brought it up, right, to then 10 years later being in a situation where you're found civilly liable of rape. The only way to really approach that is just, it's crazy.
And
It's just crazy.
so you're a reasonable person.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
And then so how much do you believe that him speaking out against the one world government has to do with those charges? Or
Honestly, that is a sandbags of conversation that I just can't offer an opinion on.
our goal was to
truthfully-
get canceled here, bro.
I know. I can't offer a
We
thought
had
on
one
that.
goal.
That's, that who knows? Who knows is the big question mark.
So you are a conspiracy theorist.
I mean, nah.
So it's possible.
No, I'm not. Nope, I'm not entertaining it.
Okay. So you're saying that you don't publicly support Conor McGregor, is what you're saying?
All right, put me on the spot.
I'm
here.
just fucking with you. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I'm just trolling.
Kind of crazy to see how the world has reacted to it, though, right? And how
Yeah.
they've just taken him off of everything. How he's
Every
been-
brand,
yeah.
proper 12, saying he's
Is
no
he
longer
still
the
with
face.
BKFC?
No,
I don't know. I haven't seen BKFC publicly say anything about it. I'm not sure if they have or haven't.
That's crazy. You got coached mid-fight by Conor. That's a fucking life moment, bro.
It has aged so terribly.
It was
The
like the
photo
coolest.
of him raising our arms, I'm like, that has aged so poorly.
Hey, listen, bro.
Within a month, I can't post this photo ever.
Hey, I walked out to R. Kelly one time, and then he got
Did you
convicted.
actually?
No. Before when
Okay, before.
when he was still dope, right? It was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, R. Kelly. Well, I've been fighting for a long time, right? And so I walked out to R. Kelly, right? It was after the party, it's the after party, and after the right? And so I'm like pointing at girls in the audience. Was my girlfriend at the time, but still, I
Yeah.
looked fly. I was like pointing at her, and she's like looking at me, and I'm like, dude, this is dope. And then he started pissing on women and and I'm like, what is
Oh, I
going
thought
on?
you meant at the concert.
Oh, no.
Like, straight off the stage.
Well, I think he
Hey,
did
dude,
that
watch
too,
this.
right? R. Kelly did that too, right? He's in jail. We can
he
make
might
up
have.
stories about him. He pissed on somebody
We
at a
can lie
concert.
about R. Kelly
No, I'm just
here.
playing.
This is an R. Kelly liar space.
Allegedly, he was
Yeah.
urinating on people at his concerts or something. But
that's crazy.
anyway, so
Do you have your passports?
a lot of these.
Do you have your shots?
Bro, a lot of these people, you can't even, if they're in Hollywood, you can't even deal with them because it's going to age poorly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you
Well,
know.
think about Jake Gyllenhaal. He's like, I did a movie with that guy. I
Right.
did fucking Roadhouse with that guy.
Weren't they filming Roadhouse 2?
I think they were filming the sequel, man. Yeah.
I think they're in the middle of filming the second one.
Jake's rolling up to set. He's like, "Hey guys, where's Conor?" Don't ask. don't even ask.
He's under the prison. Fuck, dog.
I don't know. We'll see. I think the best answer is we'll see on everything.
I hope listen.
I want truth.
If that person was victimized, then I support people being prosecuted. I hope it's not true though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I hope it's not true. I don't want to see. I don't like hearing bad things happening. I don't like hearing about people getting the R word. That's all.
R word.
Yeah, I don't. If we say we'll get canceled or they'll bleep it or something,
spell
I don't. It rhymes with the color of his jacket, grapes.
This is red.
Right? Yeah.
I genuinely thought you meant retarded.
That's another one of them.
Yeah, and so anytime that happens, that's tragic and unfortunate and terrible. But I really hope it's not true, man. I hope that girl didn't get that. I hope she's just chasing a bag. I hope Conor makes a comeback. You know what I mean? Like, I have hope in people, and I don't know shit about the case, so I'm just speculating. I might go read the case and be like, dang, I take back everything I said, right? Fuck that dude. But as of right now, I don't know anything about it, and I'm just having opinions.
Right.
Uneducated opinions about subject matters I don't know anything about.
Well, like we said, like a couple of weeks ago, a criminally convicted rapist participated in the most watched fight of all time.
Exactly.
On Netflix. All kinds of different sponsors on it. Mike Tyson was there, right? So
that's wild.
I think
seems like the whole world accepted it.
It's not going to prevent, I think, in his future. I don't think that it will prevent much again, because historically, Kobe as well had that situation, right, where he went through that same thing, and I think that was criminal.
You know how he met his wife?
No.
He was already an NBA All-Star. He was getting to a phase where he wanted to be a rapper. So he brought some girls on set. Those girls ended up being high school girls. One of those girls was Vanessa. Started dating her. His parents didn't approve of it. And then his parents moved away from him for like a couple of decades until he had kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
crazy.
I think especially with the rights deal coming up in December.
Paul Walker's girlfriend was 16 when he was like 30.
Fuck this! I'm moving to Thailand and marrying a hooker. Fuck all you people.
This is the big
You're
takeaway.
ruining all my
We gotta
idols.
go to.
You're ruining all my idols.
We're going back to
Holy shit.
Phuket. We're going back to Phuket. That's the only takeaway.
Let's go, Stu.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Big Stu's gonna come with us.
Anyway, David, where can everybody find you on socials? Where are you going to be
I don't know,
coming
man.
up?
Fucking, I get my accounts deleted frequently. Right now, it's King David MMA. There's a lot of pro-America comments and patriotism on there, and I guess that's frowned upon these days. So yeah, shout out to me, myself, King David, the country, USA, Donald Trump, Dana White. Let's go.
Let's go. And the man, Ben, the Bane Davis.
You can also find me at the Peppermint Hippo Monday through Friday, staying up all night, getting covered in glitter by strippers before I go to pro practice.
Shout out to the Peppermint Hippo.
That's not where you're gonna find me.
I'm dragging you there. Break up with your girlfriend and come to the strip club with me right now.
I can't. I gotta go put a ring on her, man.
Oh man. Well, then we're doing a bachelor party at the Peppermint Hippo.
That's the compromise, fellas.
I'm gonna introduce you to Cashley. She's a nice girl.
I don't want to meet Cashley.
You do. You just don't know it. Sorry to Ben's girlfriend. You're lovely, and he's actually a choir boy.
At Ben the Bane Davis on all platforms, man. We got APFC coming up this Sunday, so unsure when this is going to come out. But if you are wanting more combat sports after Alexandre Pantoja and Kai Asakura, make sure you tune in to the final APFC event of the year. Outside of that, on DAZN X Series, we'll be rocking and rolling January 18th. Darren Till versus Tommy Fury.
Oh,
that'll be a fun one. Can't wait to be there.
I didn't know that was happening, bro. I'm excited for that.
It's
That's supposed to be a huge card. Where is that taking place?
And you're
gonna be
commentating that?
Commentating it.
Hey, listen,
Play-by-play,
bro.
baby.
Hey, man, I need them VIP tickets, my
if
guy.
you're in Manchester, I got you,
Let's go.
You are on a huge globe, though, Ben. Congratulations. It's been
Thank you, brother.
amazing to watch the growth. I mean, we've known each other for maybe a couple of years now.
Yeah,
it's been awesome to see everything blow
Yo,
up for you.
and one thing I really admire about Ben, he shows up, bro. He's on a plane, he's on another plane, he's on a layover, he's no sleep in the airport. Listen, last night, tough enough, he pulled up, right? You know what I mean? He stayed after, he's going to dinners, he's not sleeping, he's like, I don't know, on water and energy drinks and just traveling the world and making it happen. So anybody that says anything to me about Ben Davis, I'm like, dude, that guy hustles. So, my guy.
One of the hardest working guys in the biz.
Let's go.
Amen.
I appreciate you guys so much both for coming down, being a part of episode 100 for Still Friends Show.
100.
Triple digits.
I'm gonna go smash 100 Thai hookers and beat up 100 lady boys in fight circus. Episode 100. Let's go.
Shout out to you, Big Stu. We're out. See you guys next time.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Big Stu getting the shouts.